This is the Abbey of Monte Cassino. Built in 529 AD by St. Benedict, the Abbey is one of the most sacred monasteries in the entire Catholic Church. It's home to St. Benedict and St. Scholastica's remains, thousands of rare and valuable paintings and sculptures, and to this day, the peaceful monks living there make it one of the most beautiful and holy places on earth. On February 15, 1944, the Abbey was completely destroyed as this mountain would fall victim to one of the most brutal battles in the history of modern warfare. The monastery and the town of Cassino were casualties to one of the greatest and hardest fought battles of World War II, the Battles of Monte Cassino. The battles resulted in more than 60,000 Allied casualties and nearly 100,000 total casualties, equivalent to the campaign months later in Normandy, all for the purposes of penetrating one of the strongest defensive lines employed in the history of modern warfare. Unfortunately, very few Americans understand this battle, its significance, and the tremendous sacrifice and heroism exhibited by those who fought in it. My grandpa was part of this battle, so it has a very special place in my heart. In August 1943, the Allies had successfully invaded the island of Sicily and had succeeded in driving the Germans back to the Italian mainland. Unfortunately for the Allies, they were not able to completely cut off the Germans' escape, which allowed the Germans to reorganize on the Italian mainland and ultimately form several stout defensive lines in the mountainous terrain of central Italy. In September, the Allies invaded the Italian mainland, officially setting foot on the continent of Europe for the first time. The invasion's objectives were to secure an avenue approach into Germany from the south, provide a base of operations for bombing attacks into Germany, and also occupy German forces to ease pressure from the Normandy invasion soon to come. From day one, the Allies experienced tremendous resistance in the mountainous terrain of central and southern Italy. The Germans, under the leadership of Field Marshal Kesselring, had developed a stalwart set of defensive lines, with the anchor being the impenetrable Gustav Line. The Gustav Line incorporated multiple rivers and the highest mountain range in Italy to guard the entrance to the Liri Valley, which was the valley that led to the crown jewel of Italy, Rome. Overlooking the entrance to the Liri Valley, on Monte Cassino, stood the great monastery. Due to its strategic importance, Monte Cassino became the linchpin of the Germans' defensive positions within the Gustav Line. The Germans spent months digging in impenetrable caves and bunkers, reinforced with impassable obstacle belts consisting of wire, landmines, and booby traps. Most difficult for the Allies, the Germans held the high ground, and if we wanted it, we had to take it from them. From September through January, the Allies fought their way north up the boot of Italy, penetrating the Volturno and Bernhardt lines. On January 17, 1944, the stage was set for an all-out assault on the impenetrable Gustav Line. In some of the most brutal warfare seen during World War II, it took the Allies 4 separate attacks over a 4-month period before they finally broke through into the Liri Valley and ultimately took Monte Cassino on May 18, 1944. By the time the battle was finally over and the Allies had advanced into the Liri Valley, both sides were completely decimated. Fighting an uphill battle, many times on sheer rock faces with no dirt to even dig into, the sides of the mountains were stained red from all of the dead and wounded. Thousands of Italian civilians were killed as the town of Cassino, monastery, and surrounding towns and villages were completely destroyed. Throughout the next week, leading up to the 75th anniversary of this incredible battle, I will be visiting the Abbey and surrounding areas to provide a first-hand perspective of the Cassino battles and its impact as part of the greater war. Let us all take a moment to remember the brave heroes who sacrificed their lives to rid the world of the evil Axis forces, for none of us would be here today without their tremendous sacrifices.